Please could you share with us some stories about Mr. Label and Mr. Jain that highlight their leadership qualities and character which we may not have heard before?
I'll start out with Ajit. He walked into the office in 1986, and I'd gotten the bright idea of going into the reinsurance business, I think in maybe 1969. So I'd stumbled along for 17 years, and I had a wonderful guy that ran it, but he also liked certain brokers, and I mean, he was running it the traditional way, the top quality and everything else, but he fell into he didn't try and change the system. He tried to improve the system, and to some degree, and we went nowhere. 17 years wandering around in the wilderness, and I thought I knew we could have something good. And then Ajit came in on a Saturday, and Mike Goldberg had steered him in, I think, and Mike deserves to be enshrined in perpetuity for that act. And I talked with him a while. I think maybe I was opening the mail on Saturday while I talked with him, and he had absolutely zero experience with insurance, but he'd actually seen a good bit of how corporate America operated because he'd been in management consulting. And after talking with him, I knew I'd struck gold, and so I hired him and gave him the backing of some money. And we had a very good period in the market, almost right away for him to act. And Ajit, if I had the top pick of 10 insurance managers in the world, I could take all 10, and they wouldn't. You can't replace Ajit. And we still enjoy talking. We don't talk as frequently as we used to, but we used to talk about every day. But he's one of a kind, and if they're going to stick around long enough, you only need one of a kind. Paul Andrews stuck around at TTI, had all the money in the world. Every time I talked to him about getting a raise or something of the sort, he said, "We'll talk about that next year." He was not what you get when you get the top draft picks from the leading business schools. And I will say this, I have never looked at where anybody went to school in terms of hiring. I mean, I just, somebody mailed me a resume or something, I don't care where they went to school. And it just so happens that Ajit went to some pretty good schools, but he isn't Ajit because he went to the schools.
Warren Buffett explains how he had been struggling with the reinsurance business for 17 years and had been unable to find a way to make it successful. That is, until he hired Ajit Jain. Despite having no experience in the insurance industry, Jain had previously worked in management consulting and quickly proved himself to be an invaluable asset to the company. Buffett attributes much of the success of the reinsurance business to Jain and believes that he is irreplaceable. He also emphasized in the interview that he has never looked at where someone went to school when considering hiring them. Instead, he focuses on the individual's character, talent, and work ethic. In fact, he notes that some of the best employees he has ever hired did not come from prestigious academic backgrounds. This approach has served him well in the past, as evidenced by his success in hiring Ajit Jain, who did attend good schools but was ultimately hired for his unique character and abilities rather than his educational background.